That's why people like David Icke are jewels and gems to this world. David, thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure, but I mean, I can't do anything else, because once you start to understand what's happening in the world, and that started to come to me a long time ago now, 30 years, and you realize where the world is being taken, then walking away and staying silent is not an option if you have any self-respect. And that's what it comes down to in the end, self-respect. Are we going to speak our truth and have the self-respect to do that, or are we going to self-censor and silence ourselves and keep our heads down for fear of consequences? And, you know, that's an important point. It all comes down to that in the end, in terms of self-censorship. Consequences. Consequences are prisons. They're prison cells. Because when I wrote The Trigger, I knew that I was going to deeply, deeply upset what I expose, which is a death cult. And we can get into that as we go through today. And that death cult has control of the mainstream media, and thus could demonize me and could attempt to shut me down. You know, a few days after publication, suddenly Facebook, which is controlled by this death cult, like Silicon Valley in general, threatening to delete my page. I mean, that's just a coincidence, isn't it? But if you sit down and you say, what are the consequences for me of doing what I know to be right and saying what I know to be right, then invariably fear of the consequences will persuade you it's better not to do it, not to say it, not to write it. But I don't go through that mental process of asking what are the consequences. What I ask is it true? Can I justify it with the facts? My goodness me, the figure is brimming over with facts on every page to support what I'm saying. And if the answer to that is yes, then it's going out there. The consequences will take care of themselves. And you know, the whole foundation of human control is based on intimidation. Put in words of one syllable, it's getting people to give a shit about what people think of them, the consequences that might happen to them. And once you can get people in that mode, then they'll start self-censoring. Once you decide that consequences and abuse are of no importance to you, doing what you know to be right is the only thing that drives you, then what you're doing is you're taking your power back from that which you're exposing, because the currency of control is intimidation, fear of consequences. So they're the first things that have to go if we really mean it when we say we want to make a difference. And when you put aside fear of consequences and just do what you know to be right, then that control system has lost its power over you. It's lost its power over silencing you, because you won't be silenced. Because why would you compromise saying what you know to be right, except out of fear? And I gave that up a long time ago. And this is very important, that people put consequences aside and do what they know to be right. And it's like everything. You know, when I was a footballer, I was a goalkeeper, a professional goalkeeper. And the worst part, this is a long time ago, I finished when I was 21. The worst part of playing football as a professional was sitting in the dressing room waiting to go out to play. Because everything that could possibly go wrong was going wrong in your head. I better not do this. I hope that doesn't happen. And then you got on the pitch where you actually did it, and it was fine. And 99% of the time, what you were stressing about in the dressing room, I hope this doesn't happen, what if that happens, didn't happen. And, you know, I can tell you that after 30 years of taking abuse for doing and saying what I believe to be right, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm stronger than ever. I've got more people looking at what I'm saying than ever. And if you keep walking and you don't stop, you don't surrender your right to your own truth, then instead of you trotting after the world starts moving in your direction, if what you say has validity, that is. But if you hadn't said it in the first place through fear of the consequences, then you wouldn't be proved right down the road. And as a result of that, more people come and say, well, what else is this guy saying then? So this is the bottom line. You want to make a difference? Okay, put consequences aside and speak your truth. And you'll find it's not as difficult as you thought it was.